All right, there he is, Mr. Patrick Ball, the talent behind the best head of hair on television today. How are you, sir?
I don't know. You give me a run for my money, I think, Mike.
Funny story. Okay, true story. And I wanted to share this with you. I got my hair cut last week. I went in to my good friend Amanda, shout out to Amanda, who's my hairstylist, and I said, give me the Langdon. I showed him a picture.
Yes.
And yes, I
Yes, you
love
got
it,
it
man.
too.
Nice. Okay. Well, thanks. That means a lot coming from you. I appreciate that. Yours is a great story because it seems to kind of reinforce there is a method to the world's madness. Because I love that you graduated only 3 years ago, right, from the David Geffen School of Acting at Yale. You struggled like many actors did, and then boom, this seemingly perfect role lands for you. Tell me how it kind of came across your table, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I really do think that there is something cosmic about it. Like I didn't do anything to will this into existence. This was just, yeah. I spent, I guess I graduated from drama school 3 years ago, but I also spent uh 5 years, pounding the pavement before drama school. And so I've done probably thousands of self tapes, and
Wow.
this was just another self tape. I guess when it's your time, it's your time because there was nothing special or unusual about this opportunity. It just was the right fit, and it just took off, and it just totally changed my life.
I mean, the perfect bit of irony is that, of course, both of your parents were involved in the world of medicine and emergency medicine at that as well. So I'm curious how much of the world kind of entered your childhood. I mean, when you stepped on set, was it kind of already comfortable for you in a sense?
Well, I mean, I would visit the hospital from time to time growing up, and I would go and stay with my dad at the base, and, from time to time. But for the most part, they didn't talk about what they did. Growing up, they never talked about what they did, and that was a real point of interest to me. That was like a real entry point, was the sort of compartmentalization that is necessary to do this work, because they would come home every day and they would make dinner and they would make me do my homework, and they would say, why are you skipping class? And they would just be present for whatever it is that I'm doing. And it didn't occur to me until I was much older that, like, literally like an hour previously they might have lost a patient, and they just completely put it away. And it wasn't until I read the pilot episode with them, and they started, like, they came back and they were like, wow, this is amazing. This reminds me of this, and this is real. This feels really real. This happened one time. And it was like the first time I had really heard them talk about what they do. So yeah, it was just kind of a miracle.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had an opportunity now to ask them their reaction to it because I know the show is really trying to stress the reality for the healthcare situation and healthcare workers today. So, have your parents kind of commented on, like, yeah, that's sadly, this is how stressful it is for a lot of us?
Oh yeah, I mean, my parents, all my parents' friends are all, nurses, doctors, and paramedics and whatnot. And my mom's Facebook activity has never been higher. It is booming. It is booming in the Facebook community of Central North Carolina. So that's been really cool. Everybody's super excited and super supportive, and in the broader healthcare community has really become really engaged in having conversations around the show, which is really amazing, because this is a community that really needs a space to talk about it. So that's been really cool.
Kind of on that note, what I love about the portrayal of Frank's alleged addiction, we haven't really talked about, is he an addict or is, what's going on with that? It's never played in a stereotypical way. He's not fumbling around, he's not making mistakes and losing patients that we know of. He's functional. And I really enjoyed that because there's a reality to that we just don't know what's going on behind the scenes for a lot of these people, in the real world and these characters. So again, was this something that you spoke with the creators of the show or the writers, something to once again represent an unfortunate part of the reality of a lot of ER medical professionals.
Yeah, this is an issue that really afflicts a lot of people broadly and specifically within the healthcare community. This is a real problem. We have a number of med techs, real life ER nurses and doctors that are on set with us, walking us through procedures. And they would come up to me every day during filming and they would pull me aside and they would say, "This is really real, by the way. In every hospital I've ever worked in, this has been a real problem. People stealing drugs." And it's a real problem, and I really wanted to make sure that it was depicted in such a way that this is not an over there problem. This is not a them problem. This is not a different kind of person problem. A lot of the addicts that I know are incredibly high functioning, incredibly ambitious, seemingly successful people that are really struggling behind the scenes, and that is something that I wanted to show that this isn't just the somebody slumped over in a chair. It may be, but it also may be somebody that you know. So just pay attention and give grace.
Another part that I really like about the show is that thread of forgiveness. And I think there's an interesting kind of mirror between Frank and Cassie, because Cassie talks about her former addiction at one point as well. And she says you have to learn to be kind to yourself. And you see a little bit of Langdon's life outside of the ER, because he's talking about his kids and he's talking about his dog and whether or not his wife's going to be happy and everything like this. But I'm curious, is there something that Frank's perhaps not forgiving himself for that led him down this path?
There's a whole life there. There's a whole life there, and in the workplace, uh, you win some and you lose some, and Langdon is somebody that has managed to make that an MO. I'm okay with that. And as an emergency worker, you have to be okay with that. You are going to lose people, and there becomes again this compartmentalization, this sort of survival mechanism that you put in place that both my parents had in place, that you cannot see in front of you. You cannot see a mother or a son or a cousin or a friend. You have to see a body, and you have to detach emotionally somewhat from it, but it's all still there. It all really happened, and I think that leaves invisible marks. And I think as far as what else is going on, what else is going on in his life that might have precipitated this fall? Who knows? I guess we'll see.
Wanted to talk to you about this because this was amazing. You just posted this on social media, that you're getting the opportunity to play Hamlet,
Yeah.
which I find amazing, and
Yeah.
not your first foray into Shakespeare either. I also want to say I can't wait to see anything from this, because Gina Torres is playing Gertrude, and
Yeah.
that, yeah, that, I mean, just the two of you alone, let alone the rest of the cast. I went, wow, I need to see this. This sounds amazing. But it automatically kind of dawned on me that a lot of Shakespearean protagonists feel that they are the victim of fate, even though, quite frankly, it's typically through their actions that their downfall happens. And I automatically said, gee, that sounds a lot like Langdon once again, that you're blaming, or the character is seemingly blaming other people. And yet, some of his own actions are really what's causing his downfall. So, did you kind of pick up on any overlap playing these characters, pretty much back to back?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Playing Hamlet has been the absolute top of the heap bucket list dream for me from the time that I decided to become an actor whenever I was 16 years old until about a year ago, whenever I realized Langdon was a dream that I never knew that I had. Like, and so the fact that I'm getting to do both of these things back to back like this is just absolutely beyond. And I think you're right. I think they do have some overlap, and they do live in the same family in a lot of ways. I think Langdon is much more decisive, much more decisive than Hamlet is for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think they live in the same lineage of anxious young man that doesn't is still trying to figure out his place in the universe and how to how to be a man, how to be what people expect him to be. What does that mean? Do those shoes fit? Do I have what it takes? Well, the moment is here, so I better figure it out. I think these are things that both Langdon and Hamlet deal with. So I'm very excited to, I'm just starting that process. I figured they announced it yesterday, so I'm very excited to lean into that process. But I do feel like it is a real natural progression from what I've been doing for the last year.
From what I heard from Taylor, you're essentially, I think they've started writing season two, but you've got about a month or two, I'm assuming, to do Hamlet, and then you're basically shooting season two, so that you guys can get it out for January. So, have you even started thinking about season two? I mean, here you are still interviewing for season one, but are you looking down the road, or are you just kind of focused on what's ahead right away?
I'm really thankful for Hamlet to have something to do because I've been thinking about season two since really the beginning of season one. And as soon as we stopped shooting and I came back here to New York, I took about 2 days to sort of like lay out in the park and hang out with some friends. And after about 2 days, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back to work. What are we doing? Where are we going? And so to have a project to put that energy into is going to be amazing. And as far as what happens, Scott Gemmell, he knows what he's doing. The showrunner knows what he's doing. The writers know what they're doing, and I can't wait to see what they're cooking up.
Well, that makes thousands of us, millions of us can't wait to see. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on a fabulous season, and thank you so much for the hairstyle inspiration. Appreciate it.
Looks great, man.
Thanks, appreciate it. Take care.
Hey, Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also, click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.